Support for this program is provided in part by Guido's Fresh Marketplace.
Welcome to The Natural Cook. I'm Anna Gershenson. I'm so happy to return to producing an episode, especially with my wonderful guest, Chef Simeon Bittman. He was on my show before, so you are very familiar with him. And I wanted to give him an introduction because he was born in the Berkshires. And he decided to be a chef. He loved cooking, and that was his passion. And so he worked his way through the kitchens of Boston, the Bay Area of California, and also as an executive chef at the Sterling College in Vermont before deciding to come back home and explore his own take on world cuisines using local and seasonal inspirations. Simeon had a catering and home delivery business, and that's when he was on my show last time. And he also was chef de cuisine at Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health, and is currently a head chef at a local and seasonally focused treatment center. He is very happy that he can apply his passion and his craft to better feed people who are at the treatment center. And you can find his food and find out more about his approach on his Instagram at Chef Simeon. Welcome, Simeon.
Oh, thank you for watching. Hi, Anna, over there. Wait, over here, I think, is where you're going to end up being.
Yes, I live in the bottom.
Today, we're doing a beautiful chicken tikka masala. I love this dish very much because it explores seasonings and spices and flavors from India. It follows a path from India into Britain and the UK and comes to America, where it is known and loved as the go-to takeout when you go for Indian. And I just thought it would be wonderful to show you how it can be done at home. My recipes are not super duper simple and fast, so, get ready to get involved in the kitchen a little bit. Have some fun, settle yourself in, do whatever you need to do to get yourself relaxed and get ready to cook. So, right now, we have the chicken already in the oven. Let me show you. It just went in just a moment ago. So these are whole pieces of chicken here. Now, tikka originally means little bits of things, little bits of meat, little bits of vegetables. So, in the recipe that Anna posts, you'll notice that I put tikka in quotes. That's because we're using whole parts here. Now, this is a beautiful local chicken from a farm called The Farm in New Marlborough, Massachusetts. And this happens to be a place that I love to get my chicken because it's beautiful, it's not too big, it's not too small. Taste is always really, really good. Up here, however, there's a great farm in Lanesborough, on the Lanesborough-Cheshire line called Square Roots Farm, which also has great chickens too. Have you ever been there, Anna?
Absolutely. They are an amazing couple, Michael and Ashley, and they were growing vegetables as well and selling them at the farmers market. And this year they are just switching to raising their cattle. Their eggs are amazing. They also have pastured chickens. So please support our local farms.
Yes, we do. All right, so I'm going to start with making some basmati rice. I've got a butter and oil combination in here. I like to use these two. Flavor-wise, it's really nice. You get the full flavor of butter and olive oil. Those flavors blend really well together. But also, it helps to prevent the butter from browning too much and burning when you've got it at a high heat. It's sort of like...
you can tell here that Simeon has classical culinary education, because this is a French method of not burning butter.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Yes.
All right, I'm going in with some mustard seeds. I like to use these darker ones because they have a cooler color to them. There are also lighter colored yellow mustard seeds, which are great as well. But I guess we'll give this a minute to get melted and nice and warm.
Tell us, Simeon, what did you do with the rice before putting it into...
Good question. You know, I did not rinse the rice, which is definitely something that you can do. It's often recommended to wash the rice a number of times until the water runs clear.
Yes.
And that's a very good thing to do for a number of reasons. Mostly the rice is shipped from far away, and in shipping in bags, it can break up and starches can come out of the rice and get around the rice. And then when cooking, those starches come out and could potentially create a gooey rice. I did actually look into doing that or not. Did a little research for this show, and I decided not to for this basmati rice because I think it still comes out really fluffy. And I don't exactly know why, but every time I do basmati rice at work or at home, it seems like it's okay. I think it's partly because of the fact that I'm going to toast this rice slightly, or what they call parch it, which is to get it under the, get it into the olive oil and the butter so much that it gets parched, like thirsty, very thirsty for liquid. And then I'll go in with liquid, and that'll create a nice even cooking. And I think we'll maintain the integrity of the rice that way.
Yes, I think also that by doing it, you are coating the rice kernels, and you are actually sealing in the starch that is not getting released and getting the rice sticky. So it's a wonderful new method.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so we've got some action going on in here. Things are melting, things are happening. What I'm waiting for is the mustard seeds to just begin to pop, at which point, before there is explosive seeds popping everywhere, creating lots of burns for old Simeon, we'll go in with the rice to kind of chill it out, and we'll begin parching the rice. Now you see this bubbling is good action. That means that moisture from the butter is coming out.
Yes.
Usually before you add something to your pan when you're melting butter, you wait for this foaming moisture evaporation thing to happen. So when the foam is almost settled down, that's usually when you go in with your ingredient. In this case, we start with a cold start, as they call it, for the mustard seeds here, so that they'll have a chance to come up to temp and pop evenly and around at the same time.
And in Indian cooking, they do this to many different spices.
Yeah, to bloom them, right?
Blooming them, right. This is the beauty of Indian cuisine, that they utilize so many wonderful spices.
Oh, I heard a pop. I'm going in. I'm going in.
Yay.
Okay. Now we'll just kind of start parching. I want to be gentle when I'm stirring this rice, so that I don't break up the grains too much. I want them to keep their integrity.
Yes. Is there basmati rice you like?
What's that?
Is there basmati rice brand you like buying?
Yeah, but now that you put me on the spot, I'm not going to remember the name. But I get it by bulk, actually. There's a great Asian market in Hadley, Massachusetts that I like to go to. And there they have these big bags. There's a big elephant on the front, and it's a burlap sack with a zipper on top and handles, so you can carry it around, and it's just really great. It feels like authentic and the real thing to me.
It's good to know about this kind of resource. Also, I wanted to share with our viewers that you should really be buying Indian rice and not California basmati rice, because these are two different animals. So that's my recommendation, and I know that it's being recommended by many experts.
Oh, that's great. That's a good tip. All right, so now I'm going to add water. I'm adding water instead of broth because I like the clean final color of the rice without broth, and the clean flavor of the basmati. Now, I didn't use a measurement per se. I roughly have an idea. I had 1 cup of rice, and I'm going in with about 1.5 cups of liquid here. And I like to do this finger technique here. So you'll see, why am I sticking my finger in the rice? Well, it's because I'm checking out what it feels like. The space between the rice, the top of the rice and the water should come up to about my first knuckle. And it looks like I'm getting close there. I'm going with a bit more. Yeah. In my experience here, so a lot of this is experience and feel. In my experience, when just using a lesser quantity of rice, it doesn't necessarily always have to come all the way up to that knuckle.
Yes, absolutely. This is also something I wanted to add, that with 1 cup, it's not necessarily, this formula doesn't necessarily work with 1 cup, but over a cup, this is a perfect formula that you don't have to measure your water. Just make sure it comes to the first joint, the water. That's all, from the surface of the rice.
1 splash or dash of salt. 1 stir as I see it coming up to a boil here. And then I've got my reusable foil. I always try to reuse foil as many times as I can.
This is so thoughtful. Perfect, Simeon.
Yucky.
I'm the same way.
You are?
Yes. I cannot throw out things. I have to reuse them.
And it's really good to seal it up tight.
Right.
I'm going to give it a minute here to come to a boil again, and then I'll turn it down. And Anna, I'm going to ask you to watch a clock. And when it gets to about 12 minutes, make sure that I check the rice.
All righty. Setting up the timer. Okay. I'm being useful.
Thank you for being so useful.
Okay.
All the way over there.
This is fun to see you performing your magic where I usually stand, and me just watching and relaxing and admiring you.
That's great. Yeah, you're lucky. You just get to kind of hang out and watch.
Yes, but I know how much fun you are having now.
I am definitely having fun.
Yes.
This is so great to get the opportunity to just relax here and really get into each step this way with you, and to feel as though if anybody's interested, you can learn a thing or two. And yeah, it's just exciting to me.
And I know that people who are not sure in themselves, they can feel nervous in the kitchen, but this is really a great tip, that when you come to the kitchen, try to relax, because your energy goes into the food that you make, and then people who eat it feel it.
Yes.
And your confidence will come, and you make mistakes, and it's okay. That's how you learn.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
So,
all in good fun.
What are we doing now? We are preparing.
We're starting a sauce. We are starting the masala.
Yes, by the way,
this is the heart
Simeon,
and soul of the dish.
yes, can you tell us what you did with your chicken before you put it into the oven?
Yes. I marinated it for probably about 12 hours. I recommend at least 8 hours of marinating in a bit of olive oil, some yogurt, various spices that you will find on the recipe, and ginger and garlic, of course, and a squirt of lemon. Did I say
One-
salt? Did I say salt? I did. Maybe
yes,
I didn't.
salt, of course. Yes, salt. It's very important, as we know with you, that salting meat in advance is a wonderful way to make it taste really delicious,
Yeah.
because salt just penetrates the fibers of the meat and makes it juicier.
Yes.
And of course creates flavor. Of course, there are many spices, but without that salt, all the spices will not come through. And this should be marinated no less than 6 hours, right?
Yes.
And overnight
Absolutely.
is preferable. Yes. And interesting. Yeah, go ahead, Simeon.
All right, so I'm going in here with the old onions. I added a bit of salt so far. I want these to get golden and the sweetness for them to come out. It's very beautiful when that happens. There are sugars being released there. There's a wonderful smell that comes out. It's that smell that when you walk into a kitchen, often you have that, you'll just be like, wow, it just smells beautiful in here. And all the time, like, we chefs are thinking, yeah, we just started, it's just the onions. And maybe then the garlic, you know? It's just it's such a beautiful aromatic smell. It's sweet, it's rich, it's comforting, it's all those beautiful things. And then, of course, combined with butter and some oil, it's really just a fantastic entree into the beginning of cooking a meal.
And
so
don't
yeah,
be afraid.
these guys are doing their thing.
Yes.
I want to check the chicken really quick. Also, if there's any way that Anna could get turned up in my monitor, that would be awesome.
Yes, so the fat really, fat is the assistant in producing delicious food. And I know that there was a trend where doctors were recommending to eat low-fat meals or non-fat meals, and people were really, you know, crazy about that. But good fat is really good for you, and I'm excited that you are using butter and olive oil, which is monosaturated fat that is good for your body.
Extra virgin olive oil too, like absolutely must be extra virgin olive oil, label red to see that it's actually from Italy. And that there's nothing going on there. If there's a date on the oil that shows when the batch was made, within 6 months is usually like the range that I feel comfortable with. The sooner the better, obviously.
Right. Yes, oil deteriorates, start deteriorating after being, olives are harvested and oil is being pressed. Yes.
Yeah,
good
totally.
tip.
All right, we're getting some browning happening here. The rice is doing its thing. The chicken is cooking. I did bump it up just a bit, just for fun. We're really going for beautiful color on the chicken, and the yogurt is definitely going to help with that, as is the oil that I added in there too.
Yes, interesting.
Now, also regular yogurt, like thinner yogurt, Greek yogurt doesn't really work that well. It has this quality of like burning on the top, but not cooking in between the skin and the yogurt itself. So there's this interesting sort of curd in the middle that forms. And I don't know, I don't really like that so much. But thinner yogurt does a better job conducting heat between it all the way down into the chicken.
So you use full fat yogurt, but not Greek yogurt?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Yes, yogurt also, because it's thick, it actually, it coats the meat and also allows the spices to cling to the meat to make it more flavorful.
Nice. I kind of like where this is at. I could keep going, but I'm excited to add the garlic. This is what happens to me a lot of the time. I get excited and I rush through the steps, but we're going to do it anyway. This is nice. There's sweetness. I can smell it. There's a pungency that's no longer there in the onions, and we're going in. So
I assume that they are translucent but haven't colored yet.
Yes, that's right. Well, there is some color. They have begun to color, because I wanted them to get some of that.
Right.
Some of that depth there, some of that sweetness. I'm gonna bring this guy down now. I'm getting the hang of this induction oven. or induction
Yes.
range.
Yes, I know. It took time for me to get used to it, but it's really, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fast.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to bloom some of the spices like you were talking about. And the first one I'm going to use is cumin here. Now this
Yes.
cumin I actually toasted beforehand and then I ground in a grinder.
Yes.
You can also use a mortar and pestle here.
Yes.
This is a really nice one that was gifted to me by my boss. Thank you.
Yes. It's beautiful.
Now the recipe has pretty exacting quantities on it, but I
Yes.
always encourage you to feel what you think things need. If it needs more, add more.
Yes.
At first, though, it's good to go in with a sense of how much you are going to need and then adjust as you go. So I've gone in with cumin. I went in with regular paprika, and now I'm going in with smoked paprika because I like the smoky element of that.
Yes, so do I.
Nice. I'm also going to bloom this coriander, which I did actually gently toast already.
Okay.
And ground roughly. I like to grind certain spices roughly because I've been sort of getting into the texture of those lately.
Yeah.
They soften up a bit so that it doesn't become too distracting, which is cool.
Yes. And masala
Tomatoes.
masala is known for toasting the spices before adding them to the sauce.
In a lot of the recipes you read, there's particular spices that should be toasted first too, and others that are more delicate and may become bitter or astringent or even lose their flavor if they're toasted too early. So I didn't actually go in with everything yet. I went in with the spices that I knew could take it. So cumin can take some heat, coriander can take some heat, paprika, I mean, it's like dehydrated and dried. It's been exposed to heat. That's like in its DNA at this point. So it can take it. And there are gentler spices and gentler mixes here that I will go in with momentarily. But first, I've gone in with some tomatoes. Anna, you were saying that you could use canned tomatoes, and that's really what I used to do. This is the first time I'm trying to use chopped tomatoes because I was looking at some recipes of one of someone who's really inspiring to me, whose name is Madhur Jaffrey. She's written a lot of Indian cookbooks. She's been on TV. She's very knowledgeable. She's also a historian of sorts. Really awesome to listen to her speaking about history, by the way. So if you happen to, search for her in your podcast app, and you'll find her talking about really awesome stuff. But anyway, a lot of her recipes for masala have fresh tomatoes, chopped well, she says.
Yes.
So there we go.
Do you need to skin them first or not?
I did not, and her recipes don't say to, but I'm sure you could. You could definitely do the old skinning method, which is to just
I'd rather not.
Yeah, me neither. There is some bitterness and things that potentially could be in the skin, and I guess it could be distracting from the pure flavor of tomato. But, then you get the full flavor of the tomato instead of the pure flavor of the tomato or something like that, which I guess is the pure flavor of the tomato in the end. All right, so I've added some chicken stock in here as well. I'm going to let that come up. And at this point, I think it might be safe to add a spicy and very interesting element, which is garam masala. Now, garam masala is not always spicy, I notice, but this one I selected for its spiciness. Now, it has a beautiful combination of spices in it. Would you like to list some of those off, Miss Anna?
Well, there are definitely cardamom and cinnamon and probably
clove.
Clove, right? Yeah, clove. This is actually something that I cannot use in my cooking if I make food for my husband because he doesn't like the sweetness of spices.
Yeah, right.
I love garam masala, and I didn't realize that it was actually a combination of spices, like curry is a combination of spices.
Yeah, I think generally when you see the word masala, you can bank on the fact that it's a spice mix.
Yes. So there is also nutmeg there.
Uh-huh.
And black pepper.
Black pepper. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes. And all of these spices are just they're just amazing for your health. You know that
Timer. Thank you.
Okay.
Ooh, that looks good.
Yay.
All right, Sauce, you keep doing your thing over here.
Yes.
Let me check on the rice. Now, by the way, I just went in with some turmeric here. Now, talk about health benefits. Turmeric is like amazing.
Amazing, absolutely, yes. It's in my body every day.
It is? Do you take a supplement or something, or do you just eat it?
Yes, I take a supplement, and actually it stopped my arthritis, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so I am a devoted turmeric fan.
That's awesome. There are claims that it also helps to clear neural pathways and things in the brain, as well as help increase circulation, thus being a preventative against certain intense late-set issues like Alzheimer's disease.
Yes.
Now, also, one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit is this, see this pepper?
Yes.
This is what I'm using instead of black pepper today.
What is it?
This is Aleppo pepper.
Oh, I love Aleppo pepper. It has such a nice, smoky, deep flavor.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And it's not hot. It's basically the same spice level as black pepper. So why not add something interesting into the dish, you know? You can use Aleppo for when you're cooking any application that calls for salt and pepper. I've heard it say, I forget who, maybe Sarah Moulton, I think, says that salt and pepper need a divorce.
Really?
Yeah, and it's basically saying it's basically saying that it doesn't always have to be salt with black pepper. It could be a different kind of pepper that's used.
Another kind of pepper. By the way, black pepper. Yeah, black pepper has very special qualities. I always share with my viewers the knowledge that I gained that black pepper actually makes other nutrients in the food that it is added to more bioavailable. So,
that makes sense.
But you don't always have to have it.
Is it only black pepper that has that ability? Like, do other peppers have that too?
I did not read anything about other peppers about that particular quality.
But
right, maybe there is. Yes.
Oh, interesting. All right, so the rice is finished. It looks great. Now the next step for this rice is to take it off the heat, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then I will give it some little fluffing with this here fork. But for the moment, I'll put it over.
I'll set my timer again.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's see where the chicken's at.
At what temperature are you cooking your chicken?
375.
Okay.
It's getting there. You know, the breasts are finished, so I need to take them off first, which I will do now. Yes. And then I'll go back in with my thighs and leg, and I did the wings too. Why not?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, sure. Of course. They are yummy.
They're yummy. So let's put those guys here.
And this is a wonderful tip because white meat cooks always faster than the dark meat, and partially because it has less fat.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't want to overcook it, over dry it, and then even though it's going to be sauced, still the meat, if meat is dry, meat is dry.
Yeah. And a lot of recipes fail to mention that.
Yes.
Especially when using chicken parts there. Also, I wanted to say, I got that chicken whole, and I butchered it myself into 8 pieces. You can also, from both of these farms, the farm in New Marlborough and Square Roots Farm, get chicken parts as well. And
you better learn how to do it yourself because you can save some money.
It's true, you can save some money, and then you and there's so much that you can make from the leftover bones.
Yes, absolutely. Broth that is so good for your bones. What's that?
Right. Okay, this is a beautiful moment. This moment, I don't know what it is that's so satisfying about it. So at the risk of sounding weird, like adding this cream in here, oh my gosh, and watching it go
Yeah.
in and mix
Yeah.
in, that's like so beautiful. It looks so
Colors.
amazing, and it's just the richness now, just the
Yeah.
richness happening. It's like, oh,
Yes.
so good.
And
That's
of
look
course,
good. So this is a good color now. You want it to be somewhere around orange. That's good.
Yes.
If it feels like if it's looking like it's not that orange, you can add more turmeric. But as I mentioned in the recipe, just be careful with turmeric. It tends to, especially when it's a bit older, like if it's been sitting in a container ground on a shelf for a long time, it tends to be bitter. And it can easily take over as a bitter element to a dish, and you'll taste it. You'll taste it at the end. You'll taste this cream sauce, and then you'll be like, what is that in the finish? Oh, too much turmeric. Also,
So-
turmeric stains pretty badly too.
also take advantage of your local natural food stores that sell spices in bulk,
Yes.
because they are guaranteed to be fresh, because there is turnover there, and you can buy as much or as little as you need, and then refresh it, because spices go stale. They lose their potency, they lose their ability to be good for you. So, yum, I wish I could taste it now. How does it taste?
Oh, it's very, very, very good. It needs salt.
Yes.
And wow, that garam masala, even though you saw me just add like a teaspoon, that one has a lot of spice in it. I would recommend doing a little research on the brand of garam masala if you're going to be getting it in a jar. Or if you're at a bulk section in a store, maybe just try to get a little tiny itsy bitsy little dust and somehow taste it to make sure that it's good for you.
At Guido's, they have garam masala. They have an amazing array of spices, and
That's
it's
great.
right here. And you can really take a little bit on your hand and just lick it.
Yeah, that's great. And I think a lot of the times garam masala tends to be of the sweeter, the warmer, sweeter spices, and doesn't often have that spicy element in it. But
Right.
sometimes it does. Okay, so now I think that's doing very well. I'm going to turn it down low, and I'm going to let it do its thing calmly and gracefully. And I'm going to move over here to start working on our topping.
Yes.
What the heck
Ah.
is that?
This is a good question. It's funny because when I was, I had a job at Whole Foods doing creative food demonstrations.
Yeah.
And I once made roasted fennel, and I was standing there, with a decorated cart and letting people taste it. And they were totally mystified.
Oh,
What
really?
is this?
Huh.
How many people go buy fennel and don't know that it's there?
Yeah, right. Well, this is fennel. You may have heard of fennel the spice, which is like little seeds. That's the seed that comes from this fennel here. But this is fresh fennel. Fresh fennel has this crispy, satisfying, juicy, just very mildly anise flavor. A lot of people are like, "Ooh, I don't like licorice, so I'm not going to like this." But this has a very mild kind of licoricey flavor. It's not like that blackstrap molasses-y
Absolutely.
and super duper dark licorice flavor. Now, this is an awesome tool, by the way. I recommend. It's called a mandolin, not a guitar. And it just makes slicing things very thinly and easily, like a
And you
total
can
snap.
adjust thickness, as you can see, that with a turn of that
This
little
knob here.
button, right?
Yeah.
You adjust thickness. Just be careful not to slice your fingers.
Thank you. Yeah, it's super. Yeah, you may have to go through a rite of passage with your mandolin, and it won't be too serious, but it'll be annoying for a little while. I've heard some funny stories about that, actually. All right, like dads. I have a friend whose dad, on every holiday, for some reason, he takes out the mandolin when he's cooking, and he cuts himself infallibly every single time, and is always so upset. He's like, God, da da da. Cut myself again.
I guess it's time for him to start learning.
Yeah, I know, but like he keeps
or maybe
doing
using it more often.
Yeah, right. Maybe not just for holidays.
Exactly.
All right, so here's this beautiful fennel. I might as well just go into this bowl with it and go all the way, finish up this topping. So we've got this fresh fennel here. We've got, I'll put this over there for a sec. We've got beautiful cilantro here. Cilantro, another kind of love-hate relationship ingredient. Some people think it tastes like soap, which I heard recently is a genetic thing.
It is, absolutely. And it's not like they think it, but they really are missing something. And to them, it tastes awful.
Really?
And I feel bad for them because I adore cilantro, and it's actually takes toxins out of your body. So,
like metals, or what kind of?
Yes, it takes metals, and there are so many environmental toxins, and it just helps to detoxify your body.
Yeah.
So it's really great to add cilantro to your diet as much as possible, and use those little tender stems too, not just leaves, right?
Yes, absolutely. The tender part of the stem is totally nothing wrong with them at all. Nice texture to them as well. Here are pea shoots. Now, we're lucky enough in the winter and throughout the winter to have one farm that's located in the Pioneer Valley, Old Friends Farm. They're able to supply pea shoots all year round. And it's just such a great, beautiful, fresh thing to have in the deep of winter, which we are just now coming out of. And I just like to rough chop them and get them on top of all kinds of different dishes if I can. Get them into salads, get them wherever. So here we're going to incorporate them in with this topping. My approach tends to be I ask myself the question when approaching a classic dish like chicken tikka masala, how do I make sure that the richness, the comfort, the beauty of it is still there, but how do I freshen it up? How do I almost give the illusion that it's a light dish, that it's not super intense and heavy?
Yes, there is a lot of fat that goes into it. And this is actually a wonderful approach. And thank you for sharing it with our viewers.
Yeah, totally. This way you get the fat, and then you get some nice carbs from the basmati rice. And then you also get these other nutrients from nuts and from fresh vegetables and from golden raisins.
Simeon, time to fluff up your rice.
Thank you.
Yes, and while you're fluffing it up, I want to just point out that we often think of food only from its gustatory influence, how we enjoy it, but we forget that the real food that you are cooking now, and I'm saying it again, real food.
Real food.
It doesn't come out of the box, not processed. That is actually the building blocks for our body. And these pea shoots are amazing. They're full of iron and vitamin C and phytoestrogens and fiber. And instead of spending money on medications, which down the road, if you don't eat well, you develop all kinds of illnesses. We have local farms here. Like soon our farmers market in Pittsfield will start, and there are people who are selling these wonderful shoots. Not only pea shoots, but also other microgreens.
Yeah,
and they're just like an injection of health.
Yeah. And especially up here for us in the cold months, to have these farms figuring out, like by getting greenhouses and supporting that, supporting being able to grow stuff in the cold months microgreens and pea shoots and things, that's getting nutrients into our bodies here. It's like actually a very awesome, amazing service that these farmers are providing.
Absolutely, and we're so fortunate that we live in the area where there are so many farms.
Yeah.
Look what Simeon is doing.
Yeah, I'm going crazy over here. So I squirted some lemon in here after adding all of those other ingredients. And now I am zesting some lemon here, which I find to be a really interesting sort of pop and creation of a full lemon flavor that moves a little bit beyond tang and starts getting into sweetness and savoriness and things like that. Also, the smell is like just awesome.
As you have seen, that Simeon actually seasoned with salt and with the acid, and this is the best way to mix your salad.
This makes help make the nutrients bioavailable. Oh, also I think that there are some things in olive oil that help to make the nutrients more bioavailable as well.
Right, but you add olive oil after you mixed your ingredients with salt and acid, and that's the best way to give the most flavor.
Oh, good. So I didn't know I was doing that.
I'm happy to see that you're doing it exactly.
Yeah, I totally meant to do that. Absolutely.
I know you're not even thinking. You're just doing it.
Who knows? Maybe subconsciously, my body was saying it. So let me check the chicken, but I think we might be ready to plate up here.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. You definitely are there. And
I can imagine the smells there.
You can see some color. You can see... Yes.
The knife goes through. You don't even need your thermometer.
Knife goes through very easily.
Yes.
We have one more wonderful step to take, which is to lightly broil this.
Yes. So Simeon is a very ambitious chef, and he always looks for new ways to create wonderful flavors. And of course, tandoori. Tandoori is it's actually not the name of the dish. It's actually the oven in which meat is cooking to get this wonderful grilled smoky flavor. And Simeon said that this is what he wanted to achieve. And he's going to actually achieve it through broiling, right?
Yes.
He's putting chicken and putting it under the broiler to create that smoke.
Yes, and the sauce as well.
Yes.
The sauce will also get some of that color and that tandoori flavor, which is great because in a tandoori, you often can only add meat and other things. There's not an ability to put a sauce in there per se, just because of the shape and the structure of the tandoori. So here we'll sort of get like double roasty broiled flavor happening within the sauce and within the chicken. So here we go. I'm going in.
Yes. How far from the broiler do you put it? How far from the broiling unit?
Ultimately, I'm looking for like 3 to 4 inches at the closest, but 6 inches is optimal.
Right.
And there are certain wares that are best to use and others that could create a disaster. Now, casserole dishes made from ceramic, you're pretty safe there. You see I just went in with a cast iron pan there. That's also going to be good. What's that?
Yeah, foolproof, yes.
Foolproof, yeah. But glass casserole dishes, I heard some horror stories about using those under a broiler. I saw a post recently somewhere on Instagram of a disaster on a cooking show too. Like the person brought the dish from the broiler out on a Pyrex, a glass Pyrex, and placed it down, and it was just like and splattered out all over the table.
Yes.
So that's something to watch for sure.
Yeah, you don't want this to happen. So stay safe with the recommended cookware.
Yes.
To go under the broiler.
But I really love that you were, I think the great thing about our relationship and what you've already been talking about today is our appreciation of the magic, of the alchemy of food. and of cooking. The ability of this craft to pull together beautiful flavors, magnificent textures, wonderful nutrients. And that's really, and actually to elevate it into being an art form. And that is ultimately what I'm able to do here today. I can take a classic dish and consider myself to be, I don't know, painting this dish. And
Exactly, artist.
an artist. And what is the way that I would paint it? What are the strokes I would use? What are the colors that I would use? And this is a place that everybody can get to. And we all move at different rates and different speeds, and we all have different priorities in life as well.
Yes.
But it is a wonderful, it's just a wonderful alchemy and a wonderful expression to be able to be in the kitchen cooking and to take that time away from life and all of the trappings of it and all the difficulties of this year and be in the kitchen cooking.
Absolutely. I don't know where I would have been throughout this year if not for my love for cooking, where I would go to the kitchen and I moved into a different world. I forget about everything outside of the world I'm in, and I create. I look at what is in my refrigerator. It inspires me, and I love making something new.
It's wonderful. All right, I think I'm going to plate this up.
Excellent. Can't
Is this
wait
a good
to
place
see
for
it.
me to present? Can you see it? Can everybody see it? Can you see it, Anna?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to be able to experience this as closely as you can with me.
Yes. Now we are really dealing with a chef, because chefs care not only about cooking the food well and making it most flavorful, but also presenting it well. And
Yes.
this is the art of the chef.
And in
Thank
this
you for sharing it.
You're welcome. In this recipe also, I really detailed the plating of it, and I tried to use some poetic language in there as well so that you could really get into the feel of this final movement of creating a dish.
And in the recipe description, actually Simeon has included how he is plating, not just how he is cooking it. So you will get all the tips. Make sure to go to the Facebook page, The Natural Cook with Anna Gershenson, where the recipe will be posted. And if you have any questions, I'm there. I will always answer them.
That's great. And I totally am linked there as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I also admire Simeon, not only for your love of cooking, but also for your love of adhering to the sustainability of food, cooking seasonally and locally. That is also your forte.
Always.
And cooking in the Berkshires really affords you to do that beautifully.
Definitely. All right. So I don't know who can see this or how you can see this, but
I'm sure Paul is doing his magic.
He's doing his magic.
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. You know, this could have gone another 5 minutes. It could keep going. You could push it and go as dark as you'd like. I like this color because I see that there's some flavor development that happened on the top of the sauce, and there's also some more crisping and flavor development that has happened on the skin as well. And so I've attained the tandoori effect. However, you could go further into it. It's totally up to you.
But you don't want it to create smoke.
Right. You could end up creating a little bit of smoke, in which case, hopefully you have a fan or something around your house.
Right.
And, you know, yeah.
Fire alarms.
Fire alarms, right. Okay, so first we go in with the rice, yeah?
Yes.
A nice...
And don't be afraid of basmati rice, because people who are afraid of eating carbs, this is actually a kind of carb that is not toxic for your body.
That's great. All right, now I'm thinking about how much chicken I've got, and I'm thinking about how much sauce I have. I want to make sure that there's a nice balance here between this beautiful chicken. I think I'll go in with a breast piece.
Yes. So this chicken actually is not really cooking in the sauce. This is not the kind of chicken that is cooking in the sauce. The sauce is created separately.
Mm-hmm. Right. The broiling does give it some time for the two of them to fuse a bit, for
Yes.
sure. And a lot of the spices are similar in the marinade and in the sauce.
Yes, right.
So they do. All right, here we go.
Oh, those onions. I can
Oh.
see. And the cream.
Yeah. Oy, so good. Okay, that's awesome.
And by the way, for people who do not eat dairy, they can always use coconut milk instead of heavy cream.
Totally.
And they can use also coconut yogurt instead of dairy yogurt. Oh, look at this beauty. And of course, the colors are amazing. And the textures.
That's it. That's it, Anna. That's it. We made magic.
Oh, beautiful.
How about a couple Fennel Fronds?
Yes.
And
by the way, don't throw out those fronds and stalks, because you can throw them when you're making vegetable stock or chicken stock. You can even freeze them, you know?
Oh, that's great.
And when you make the stock, just throw them in.
Now,
and what's going on top?
Now, I like to finish with a bit of creme fraiche, which is also an ingredient you can get at a lot of different markets. But instead of sour cream,
yes,
why not a little tuck-in of this kind of tangy cream here to help break up the richness of the sauce, which I think maybe just needs a little more scoopy right there. There we go. That's it. That's it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, Simeon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me.
You're such a passionate and talented chef, and I'm so grateful that you share your talent with people who need to have, to heal. And so your energy goes into your food and also the quality of food. And I know that they heal faster than in any other treatment center.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, so much. It was so awesome having this experience with you, and for you to check out how to make tikka masala with chicken at home. I totally hope to see you on Instagram or on Facebook or just out and about soon, because I think we'll be able to start sharing space come summer. And enjoy the rest of your week.
Show Simeon your love and appreciation. Go and visit his Instagram page. You'll see a lot of fun stuff there. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I know that you loved the show and that you're very excited to make chicken tikka masala on your own, in your own kitchen. I will post the recipe on my Facebook page, The Natural Cook with Anna Gershenson. And happy cooking.
Support for this program is provided in part by Guido's Fresh Marketplace.